Good afternoon, sports fans. 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast. Welcome to a Friday edition of And That's the Game. I'm Matt Jolles. We come on the air with breaking news. The NBA has released the first half of what will be its 72 game schedule for the 2020-2021 season. The NBA season will begin on December 22nd. The season will kick off with two very huge games featuring the Golden State Warriors, which we are waiting to see how they will react, who actually is healthy, who will be on that roster, the 12 players that will be on the bench for the Golden State Warriors as they take on the Brooklyn Nets. And then, of course, the LA Clippers will have the Battle of Los Angeles against the defending champion LA Lakers. The first half of the season will take you from December 22nd until March 4th. Then there will be the All-Star break. Then there will be the second half of the season. The NBA is determined that they will not release the second half of the schedule until we are very close to that All-Star break week, because it is created to be a determining factor on where the season stands, how people are reacting to the COVID protocols and how the virus is reacting in each of the particular cities, and then whether or not the NBA needs to go into a bubble format. So we are going to be able to see, obviously, how this goes on as the season goes. NBA preseason games kick off December 11th. Training camps just opening this week. Preseason will kick off on Friday the 11th. A slew of games between the Magic and the Hawks, Knicks and Pistons, Rockets, Bulls, Clippers, Lakers, Kings and Trailblazers to kick things off on the 11th. The first of the Celtics games will not come until, I believe, the 15th against the 76ers will be the first of the games for the Boston Celtics. For those of you in our home state area, the home region area of the network who follow the Boston Celtics. And of course, for more on the Celtics preseason, the Gordon Hayward trade that created the $30 million trade exemption, and what will the first half of the Celtics season will look like, tune in next Thursday to Titletown Throwdown with Nick LeBlanc, and he will break down all of that information for you and more. There are a lot of key matchups that are going to happen throughout the first half of the season. Milwaukee at Denver on February 8th. You've got the Pelicans and the Mavericks on the 12th, the Lakers and the Nuggets on the 14th, Brooklyn at the Lakers on the 18th, and then an NBA Finals rematch on the 20th between the Miami Heat and the LA Lakers. There are going to be 37 to 38 games played by the NBA teams during the first half of the season. About 17 to 20 of those will be home games. There is expected to be a total, if everyone plays all 72 games in the season, there will be 1,080 games in the NBA season. 558 of those have been scheduled in the first half of the season. So that gets you up to date on the breaking news regarding the NBA season for half number 1 of 2 of the 2020-2021 NBA season. We, of course, also still don't know how the Olympics are going to fit into all of this. So there's that still to be answered. We'll have more information as that comes up. Tune in Monday to And That's the Game. We'll break down all of the following information as we are sure to be seeing that things are going to break over the course of the week. More issues abound with COVID-19 and college football announced today by the SEC. The Georgia Vanderbilt game scheduled for Saturday. That game has now been canceled after Vanderbilt was unable to field a team necessary of the number of players within eligibility to be considered competitive. Therefore, the Georgia Vanderbilt game has been canceled because of the fact that they are so close to the end of the season. That means it will not be rescheduled. In the ACC, a shuffling of schedules has meant that this week's game for Notre Dame against Syracuse will be the end of their season. They have therefore then qualified, as was expected anyway, for the ACC championship game. However, it is still to be seen who they will play, whether or not it may potentially be a rematch against Clemson. There are 3 teams in the SEC who are all possible to find their way in to that championship game. Ohio State says they will, without question, play Michigan State on Saturday. Ohio State needs to play that game to qualify for the Big Ten championship game, not based on win-loss record, based simply on the number of games set by the Big Ten Conference to have to qualify for the Big Ten championship game. So that has to be done. There are, of course, college basketball games now in effect as well, though we have not heard about any cancellations in college basketball to this date for today and or for this weekend. It is definitely still a very interesting time, and we are certainly navigating through this as best as we can. Do not forget, there is also still MLS playoffs going on. New England Revolution plays Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern against the Columbus Crew. That is for the Eastern Conference Final. Should the Revolution win that game, they would head to the MLS Cup Championship game. Want to take the last couple of minutes of the show today to wrap things up. As I mentioned at the end of the show yesterday, as I've released on my social media for a couple of days ago, this is the last show that I will be doing from the mobile studio that has been the beginning of all of this in Southern New Jersey 7 months ago. To put into a bit of a context, I have been doing play-by-play broadcasting with SFBN as a whole parent company for a number of years now, as it began in Philadelphia. I was granted this great opportunity about 7 months ago to join SFBN Rhode Island. And we have had a great journey. And That's the Game originally started as a 1-hour podcast show on Spotify, which we had a lot of great interviews with top people in front office positions, with professional athletes, with other broadcasters. And it then sort of morphed itself into what became sort of this combination of what's been Sports World Weekly, the 1-hour show that we broadcast through all of our social media channels and on Twitch, then to also bringing And That's the Game back as being this breaking news thing. And we're going to go into a whole nother iteration of it again as we move the show to Rhode Island. So Sports World Weekly will stay as it is on Saturday mornings, and we're going to grow it further. We're going to bring back that element from And That's the Game of those interviews with top athletes and sports broadcasters and front office personnel. But we're also going to grow And That's the Game. We thank so much to all of you who have been tuning in, and we know that our episodes have been these quick, groundbreaking things that we just kind of do in 10 minutes and jump off the air. And a lot of you have reached out about how you don't catch the show the moment that it happens, or how you would like to get more information about what's going on when we break these stories in the 4 o'clock hour. So we have decided that we're going to push this one out a little bit. We're going to turn And That's the Game into a 30-minute show so that you will have the time to tune in and get the more information that you're looking for. This is, in a nutshell, the mission that has been 2020 for SFBN Rhode Island. We have grown exponentially over the last 7 months, and it is a testament to all of you who watch us day to day on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope, on Twitch. For those of you who tune in and watch all the shows on replay on sfbnri.com, for all of you who read our articles, who follow all of our social medias, we cannot continue to be able to grow the way that we've grown, to grow our shows the way that we do, and to be able to have these opportunities without you. And to all of the fans, the hundreds, the thousands who tuned in during our live broadcasts, our live stream broadcasts of the RIIL playoffs for boys soccer and girls soccer and field hockey, we were so privileged to be able to bring those to you. And I was so privileged to be in the booth, able to call those games for you. And this moment for me, this opportunity to pack everything and move to the Ocean State and be able to bring those great moments to you throughout the year, every single season in 2021 and beyond, is more than I could have ever dreamed of. And it's more than I could have ever dreamed of for all of you, all of the fans of our network. We are so thrilled for everything that's been able to happen. And we look forward to bringing some amazing new editions of our shows as we go into 2021. With that being said, though, we still have Sports World Weekly tomorrow, 10 a.m. Make sure that you tune in. We will be covering, of course, the qualifying for the F1 Sakir Grand Prix in Bahrain. Yes, that is the second race that they are having in there. It is the 16th of the 17 races in the F1 season. So there are going to be battle royals as people set themselves up for the Asmarina race in Abu Dhabi and the race to the finish. The F1 championship, we know, has already been clinched by Lewis Hamilton, but second through fifth in the general standings is up. So there's going to be a lot of fighting. We'll have a lot of things to talk about with that. We'll recap Champions League action from UEFA during the course of the week. We'll set you up for the stage of Premier League action. And of course, we will kind of recap what has been the year 2020 in sports. And we've got some special guests that'll be a part of that. So stay tuned. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for Sports World Weekly. Until then, stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night.